Hi, guys. Welcome back to Hotter in Person. I am so excited to introduce today's guest. She is another queen of confidence. She is the ultimate confidence correspondent. She's a media personality, celebrity interviewer, and now author of the book You've Been Validated. Please welcome Valerie Greenberg to the show.
Jillian, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Oh my goodness. It's interesting to hear someone else sort of list your credits, your credentials, if you will, but I'm really proud of where I'm at right now, and I'm honored to be here with you and all of your incredible listeners.
I'm so glad to have you here, and I think that it wouldn't be right to do this episode without starting it off with how we even met each other because it was so random, but just like worked out beautifully at the same time. We met at a Pilates class, and we were just on the reformers next to each other. And how did we even start talking?
I'm not quite sure what exactly the icebreaker was, but I can always tell when people have good energy. And also, I try to implore people to make connections and say hello to people in real life scenarios. And then we just started chatting and we got into the fact that you work in television, as do I. And then I think you saw we had a mutual friend on Instagram, and you messaged me, who is our dear friend that you work with, and
Yes.
John. And yeah, it's important to like look up from what you're doing when you're in a social situation, no matter what it is, and be open to saying hello to someone new. And that has brought us here today.
Exactly. And it's so true because how many times, like, are you on the subway and everybody is just looking at their phone? I actually made a friend on a subway once, which is like another crazy story that I need to tell here. But yeah, look up, connect. Like, what better way to meet somebody?
And that is a big part of the theme of my book, because there are so many incredible situations that you can find yourself when you open yourself up to non calculated communication, if you will. I always say
Yes,
lead with heart, and character is currency. And that's how you can connect with
definitely.
people.
So your book is You've Been Validated, and your brand is literally built around validation. And in a world obsessed with likes and comments, how do you define healthy validation versus unhealthy external validation?
Yeah, I just took a deep breath here because at the end of the day, something that I've come to adopt, and it's been a challenge, and I think for myself and other people, is that recognizing that the only stamp of approval that we need, including myself, is our own. So obviously the title is a bit of a play on my name, but also the fact that once we recognize that where we stand, and when we believe in ourselves, and when we uncover our superpowers and really sit in them and relish in how we affect others positively, that is what truly matters, not how many people liked our post, not how many people are commenting on it. I mean, sure, a healthy way of staying in touch is how I like to use social media. I mean, I was at a fashion presentation the other day and I ran into friends that I work with, some of whom are even contributors in my book. So it's always a great way to meet people and to stay in touch with people. But when you start to obsess and your thumb starts to hurt and you start to realize those running thoughts in your head where you're comparing yourselves to others, that's when you really do have to take a break. I had the pleasure and privilege of taking a small vacation with my family at the end of the year, and I really, I was very intentional about not looking at my phone, and I just felt a weight lifted off my shoulders. I really did.
Yeah, so learning how to use social media in the right way to connect, to network, to have it benefit your goals, your network
And stay in
is
touch. Like, it's funny. You messaged me on Instagram. We both work in television. And so that was a great way for you to circle back. It's not like we text every single day, but I root you on from seeing what you're up to because I care. And watching you shine provides value to me because I like to see other women and men doing great things do well. And that's a healthy way to use social media. But if I started saying to myself, oh my goodness, I'm not doing enough. I don't have enough podcast episodes. Once you start comparing yourself to people, that's when it can become unhealthy. I always say collaboration is
yes,
where
and
it's at when it comes to social.
like you said with like seeing my stuff online and you're happy for me, you're supportive, that is like a true definition of somebody that is confident. Where do you think your confidence journey started? Like where do you start the story of how you grew to be as confident as you are?
Sure. I'm in a really healthy place with myself, but there's always room for growth. And when I moved to New York City, right after college, I went to the University of Florida. I did not come from any connections. I didn't have a lot of friends in Manhattan, but I knew I wanted to break into the entertainment and media space. And it's very competitive. and it's very saturated. So I had to not only put in the work and practice tenacious behavior, but I also had to recognize that when things weren't going perfectly, that was okay. And sometimes it was at no fault of my own. Unfortunately, sometimes I don't want to use the necessary word destructive. I've actually never used, but in terms of my behavior and my worrying and, just doing things that I wasn't always proud of, I think that would sometimes bubble up to the surface because I wasn't in a good place with myself, because I wasn't where I wanted to be, where I want, my goals were for my career. It was a slow progression. And now looking back, I realized that that slow progression was preparing me for where I was going to be today. And it's exactly where I belonged. So reflection is a very powerful tool because I talk about in the book how I had roommates upon roommates upon roommates, and that I had to sometimes, hold jobs or look for work that I wasn't necessarily passionate about to pay my bills. And that was frustrating, but it was helping me build resilience. It was helping me recognize how special it is to do exactly what I love in this moment today. And I never stopped, and I never let a no get in my way. And that's what I'm trying to help people with today, to realize that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be, and how to turn a no into a nod and move forward, no matter how things seem to be difficult.
So beautiful. I love it. And it just goes to show that working on confidence and working on yourself, it's not a quick change. Like, you really need to internalize how you are, how you're like feeling in certain instances, and evaluate and work on those changes. Work on what you want to change. And it's a process.
Well, we need to be nice to ourselves, Jillian. That's the thing. I mean, I've had certain years in my life where I've weighed more than others. And I've had certain years in my life where I worked out less, or didn't eat as healthy, or drank too much, or hung out with people that would steal my shine, and I would allow it to happen. And it's taking responsibility for not letting a slip up or something that doesn't seem like you're navigating your life with perfection. You don't want to beat yourself up. And so I talk about being your own best friend in the book, and surrounding yourself with people that want you to shine, and creating and developing healthy relationships, and patting yourself on the back and celebrating even the smallest success. There is nothing too small to celebrate. Every motion that we take, whether it's a step back or a step forward, can be something that we can applaud ourselves for, because sometimes when we take that necessary step back, it's how we grow. It's how we learn what not to do next time around. It's
Love that.
repositioning the thought process. And I've done enough therapy in life to recognize that.
And as someone who lives in the social and broadcast world, how do you protect that confidence in an industry that's constantly measuring visibility and relevance?
Yeah, it's interesting because it was like I broke into linear broadcast, and you have to prove yourself in that space in effort to get on national TV. And I started out in local markets and utilizing relationships that I had cultivated throughout my career to create content. But now, as media, the landscape changes, we're all growing and learning together. And of course, certain situations are frustrating when, it's somebody with X amount of followers that's up for the job compared to you. But what I realize is that nobody can do things the way that Valerie Greenberg can do them. And when I really lean into my superpowers and what makes me thrive, and again, I talk about how we affect people, that's how you can kind of uncover and exercise your superpowers. And now I've just really gotten so comfortable, and actually, like, I celebrate where I shine. And so I know that even though somebody else has more followers, I don't let that get to me, because I can just do my best. And I know that I was a trailblazer in the space of on the street interviews years ago, when I was jumping in Uber pools with people and meeting people on the bus. I mean, before social media was even a thing. So I know what I'm capable of. I know that my message resonates and helps people. And I keep doing it, and I keep going and glowing because I want it to resonate on an even larger scale. And that's one of the driving forces and factors behind my book.
And you've interviewed so many A-listers from all of the previous work that you've gotten. What's something surprising you've learned about confidence from celebrities that people wouldn't expect?
Sure. Well, they really value when somebody leads with character. Like, I'm always myself, no matter if I'm speaking to somebody who's been in top Hollywood blockbusters like Chris Hemsworth, or, Mark Wahlberg or Priyanka Chopra. They all can see my authenticity, and they just really appreciate and value it when you're not operating from a transactional standpoint. I mean, I remember my first interview with Mark Wahlberg. It was my first assignment for E! News. And I literally looked at him and smiled, and I was like, and they also really respect and value people that put in the work. I was like, I will cartwheel, backflip, and so that I can make sure that this interview comes to fruition. They appreciate passion. I mean, throughout my career, 20 years in entertainment journalism, both representing talent and interviewing talent and presenting on television, I've had really amazing experiences. Like when you truly just lead with passion and that belief in yourself, it will resonate with people that you want it to really hit home with.
And I've seen your interviews, and you always bring your authentic, upbeat personality to the camera. But how do you differentiate between authentic confidence and then performance?
Yeah. I think it's really important that if you're not a natural born extrovert like myself, and I dive into that in the book, that you do exercise different like external activities that you can do to kind of give yourself a mood boost, but you still need to make sure that you're not like turning it on, if you will. So if you're more of an introvert, like be that good listener. Slow down and lean into the fact that you're a more slower paced, even keeled type of a persona. You don't have to be me, effervescent and upbeat. Like you have a superpower too if you're an introvert, but you should still look in the mirror and tell yourself how incredible that you are from a humble stance, of course. And you should still visualize whatever project or who you're communicating with, that the talk goes very well. Being present is obviously, I mean, it's a practice. We could say it over and over again. But even now, I realize, Val, you can learn. Val, you can slow down. So bring energy, but also don't try to be someone that you're not. It's tweaking exactly who you are to make it come through and translate through the lens.
Yeah. And on this podcast, of course, we're talking being hotter in person. What do
Yes.
you think makes somebody hotter in person, someone magnetic in real life beyond the social media presence?
Kindness, warmth, genuine excitement. I'm laughing only because yesterday, like, it was such a high vibrational environment that I was in at this amazing fashion presentation for L'Agence. And I mean, all walks of life. You've had A-list celebrities there, you had media, but to me, what makes somebody special and what makes somebody that's worthy is the fact that they're a good human being. And I feel like people can just recognize when you lead with an open heart and you have good character, and that's what makes someone magnetic. It's truly just believing the fact that you belong in a room. And how do you do that? Well, you have to value what you bring to the table, your positive energy, your ability to cheer people on, whatever your attributes might be. For me, I really value somebody that is more soft spoken and relaxed because sometimes I need that energy. Even when I'm go, 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 it's like all of the essential like atoms in the room, if you will. I'm not like great with science, but they all matter and they all sort of are a full circle, a wheel of good vibes for everyone in the room, if that makes sense. Well, I know it makes sense. It's just like I'm actually like visualizing where I was yesterday. I mean, I talked to everybody from Rachel Zoe to Martha Stewart, but the bottom line is every time that I speak to someone, I know that I'm a good human being. And so it will be received well, even if, and also I want to recognize and point out, we all have to stop taking things personally because something could be going on in someone's head that you talk to, and you might not be getting that response back that you want. But once you take the personal, like feeling rejected out of the equation, that will help you be more magnetic because it will make you feel lighter. It will lift your spirits and it won't affect you like you did something wrong. We have to stop questioning ourselves and really land in our greatness
It's
because we
funny
all
you
have
say
greatness.
whenever I see somebody on the streets of New York and they say something rude or I get a hate comment online, I instantly think to myself, wow, I feel bad that they're having a bad day. Like I never ever even let it translate to something personal. I always take it that they must be going through something and like, wow, I feel bad for them and I hope that their day gets better.
Well, I hope that I can take a little bit of how you behave in life because that's exemplary of self-care. That's you taking care of Jillian, but also being, sympathetic to other people that might not necessarily deserve it in the moment. But sometimes it's hard. I mean, we're not always the best versions of ourselves. And oftentimes, especially in this day and age with the camera, that can be captured. But, when you do that self evaluation or you check in, play on my words, it's so important. Like if I don't lead in a way that I'm proud of. If I'm in a scenario where I don't like the behavior or how I'm being spoken to, I then like tap in and try to take advice from you. You know, this conversation can help remind me. That's why in my book, I talk about having a confidence community and continually building it because I respect you, I value you, and we learn from each other and we share good vibes. And I'll take that with me the next time. See, I know what I'm supposed to do, but sometimes we have to remind ourselves.
And I want to get into that building a network that elevates you. Your book talks about creating meaningful connections. What do you think is one mistake people make when they're trying to network?
Well, that's like when people are calculated. I mean, I can read that from a mile away. And that's when you have to take a moment and say, am I a good person? Because I mean, truly, it's not about what people can do for you. It's about how you can make people feel good about themselves. That's how I think that people should lead their lives on a personal note. And when you lead in a way where you just want something, it's almost like being in, starting a new relationship. You know, if you're thirsty, you're too thirsty, people can smell that and feel that from a mile away. So if you realize that you have a good heart and you do want to make genuine connections, I think it's, again, so important to just be who you are. That will like truly garner the respect that it deserves. And again, I know I keep going back to character as currency, but also get out of your own head. It doesn't matter how much money's in your pocket. It doesn't matter what your job title is, because there were so many times where I felt like in the back of my mind, the thoughts said, oh, you're not enough. But I was in a room with A-list celebrities and people with millions and millions of dollars. And you know what? I belong there because I'm passionate. I had a goal. I wasn't exactly where I wanted to be, but I know that I'm a good human being and I have value to add in that space. And so people saw that. And that's how you can genuinely connect. It's really, truly just leading with heart. And also, it's so important to nurture relationships and follow up enough. I mean, and taking the ego out of things. I mean, when I was on Inside Edition for 4 years, this was a huge moment for me. It really changed my life, a regular income, becoming SAG-AFTRA, like being on broadcast television on a national show that was on for, now over 30 years. And what's so amazing is that someone else, I was basically second choice. But that doesn't mean I'm second choice. The person that they had in the position, something happened, they weren't able to do it, and I was ready. I got a call, and because I had followed up enough, I'm the person they reached out to. So sometimes when you hear no, realize that you could turn that into a nod by being tenacious. Things take time, and that's very valuable information for people. I want them to realize that things do not happen overnight.
I love that. And not only are you the queen of confidence, but you're the queen of building a community. So how do we search for the quality over the quantity? What characteristics are you looking for? Are you looking for more so how others make you feel, or are you searching for qualities in other people?
Well, I think it's also important to have an inner circle of friendships, which I call your confidence community, of people that like have different attributes than you and are from different places and live all kinds of lifestyles, because truly, like, that's what a story is. My story, my world. I mean, I moved to New York City so I could meet just everybody and anybody that was passionate and driven and ambitious. I have one friend that's been to every country in the world. Do I look at him and say, oh my gosh, I don't travel enough? No, instead I say, oh my gosh, tell me what it was like. Tell me, where do you think I should go when I have the opportunity? It's like you can learn from people that are different from you. Even my skill set, like I am a natural born connector and networker. I can move a room, work a room. And I say that like with positivity. I mean, that's my superpower. It's leaning into it. But then there are people that are good with numbers, and there are people that are excellent at organization. Like that's not, I can talk to anybody. Like that's my superpower. So it's really aligning yourself with all different people with different attributes, talents, and skills than you. But first and foremost, good character and good heart. And that's how you all get brought together. And most importantly, I mean, like people you want to have fun with and that you can talk to and that have your back.
And you've worked in competitive spaces like E, as you said, US Weekly, and national TV. How do you personally handle rejection or being overlooked, like the example you were just talking about?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I really did realize, and it feels so good and it's so freeing once you let go of the fact that success and hearing no is not personal. It is completely subjective. I know my level of talent. I don't look at a space and say, oh, I haven't done that yet. I say, I'm going to try to do it if it's going to bring and add value to my life. But if it hasn't happened yet, that is not a no. That is not negative. If someone doesn't answer me back on email, that does not take away my capability. In fact, it just drives me even further to get creative, to find a way to get to a point where I'm challenging myself to bring something good into the world and make it come to fruition. And I don't stop. That's again, tenacity talks. People respect it. I mean, I was on your show, the Tamron Hall show, that you're a
Mhm.
producer on, and that took so long. But you know what? I never took anything personal. I knew that if it was the right opportunity, it would come to fruition. I've done the work the right way. I knew that I had value to share with Tamron and the audience. And I knew that if timing was right, all the stars would align. I manifested it.
Mhm. And in your book, you are blending the pop culture with self-development. Why do you think pop culture is such a powerful tool in shaping identity and confidence for you?
Sure. Well, pop culture is also a great way to break the ice with people and to create connections. And for me, I've always, like, I mean, when I was in high school, I was interviewing boy bands. Backstreet Boys did my election speech. Like, I was a singer and all those things. So, pop culture is lighthearted. And in a world where everything right now can be very stressful and very heavy and very divisive, I think all of us look for those bright spots where we can kind of just like let go for a hot moment. And again, it's what I enjoy. I'm certainly not ignorant. And I think it's very important to stay informed. But I think pop culture, we all need entertainment in one way or another to take a break from, all the trying things that happen in life. I mean, I also wrote this book. One of the hardest things in my life, and it will be one of the hardest things in my life forever, is that I lost my father. And this book is such a beautiful way that I honor him and his life and what he instilled in me to be a glow getter, as I like to call it. And without him instilling my confidence in me at a young age, yes, confidence can be molded and shaped. He really gave that to me. And he was a bit misunderstood, but he was always my star. And this is in honor of him, and it's a beautiful way to honor his life. So it's a positive that came out of the loss.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I didn't know that it was written in honor of your dad, and I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Yeah.
But
Because he was
I'm
always
wondering,
outgoing and spoke his mind, and some people didn't always like that, and it was a bit misunderstood. But he gave me that courage to always be me. And now look at it. I walked up to my book publisher on a night that I wasn't even going, it was completely unplanned that I was in the room with this person, but I had done the research and actually hadn't heard back on email occasions when I emailed him cold. And I walked up to him so confidently with all my ducks in a row and with all of the work I had put into it, and it was ready to go. That's how I got the book deal.
and they say so much of it is like when hard work meets opportunity. And just like with your appearance on the Tamron Hall show, like this book is just, it came at divine timing, exactly when it was supposed to. And what made you write the book, and why was now the time to do it?
So the thing is, this was a project that honestly was like over 15 years in the making. Because as a well, now I'm a national lifestyle expert, but as somebody who always wanted to be on TV, and it was kind of the slow burn in terms of getting here. I started with a flip cam at Sundance in 2009. And here I am now, guest correspondent for E with a book and celebrities in it and holding and reading the book. And it's crazy to me, but it's amazing because I know I earned it and it's okay to be in that. And it's like I did the research. Because I knew as a lifestyle expert, I was promoting everybody else's brand. So from a professional standpoint, I was making other people money in a space, but I wasn't in a good financial position on my own. So I had to say, Valerie, like, what sets you apart? What can you do that is going to be unique and provide value to the world? And what can you invent? What can you create? And I was like, I'm going to write a book. But the concept developed over time as I just organically was living my life. And I saw how I was affecting people and what was coming to fruition because of me, like breaking the ice and putting people together as a connector. So I like to think I'm the liaison between, all different experts in areas. A lot of your colleagues are amazing, and I've connected them with friends that have been guests on the show. So people know I'm a person that puts people together. And now this book, is the tools for everybody else to be able to do so, and they know it came from me.
Love it. I love it. And why now specifically did you think was the time to come out with the book?
Well, I had been working on it like a lot more intensely, I would say like the past 2 years based on the like evolution of my career. But I stopped. I had more time because the show that I was working on, I was moved to a different show that had a lot of cachet, but it was a lot less frequent. And in our business, nothing I always tell people, and now it's really unfortunate because, there's been a lot of shows that are getting canceled and layoffs. You are not Jillian Got Health. Am I saying it right, your last name? You are
Yeah, you
not
actually
Jillian.
are right.
You're not Jillian Got Health from the Tamron Hall show. You are Jillian Got Health. I am Valerie Greenberg, and this book is mine. It's something I developed. It's my own brand. It's my own business. And I'm not, yes, I worked at this place and this place and this place, but I never just want to be Valerie Greenberg for one thing. I want to be Valerie Greenberg, the person that helps people recognize that the only stamp of approval that matters is their own. Hence, you've been validated. And it's so important to have your own business and to have your own space to be able to create with so many ways that we consume media now. We're all figuring it out. So we're all enough. And it doesn't matter what your job title is. Make your business your own just by being you. Gotta be smart.
Yes. And I applaud you for getting my last name right because nobody does. So good job with that. And exactly what you've done. First off, it's so bold and fearless of you to go after your own self as like your brand. And for women building personal brands like you have, what's the biggest confidence trap you see and how can they avoid it?
Well, I look at all of the women around me that objectively in life have created and are super successful. I'm talking beauty brands of over 30 years, etc. And I think that people, the biggest mistake they make is not reaching out to people that are so established because we want to help you. And when I was writing this book and saw all the people that were lending their name to me, I couldn't get over the fact how much they respected and valued me as a friend. And I think that people are scared to ask for help. But like I said, when it's not calculated and it just comes from heart, people respect it. I mean, I got advanced praise in this book from Laura Geller, who founded Laura Geller Beauty, and now I'm one of her hosts for TikTok Shop.
Say she's coming on Tamron in like a
Oh my
few
God,
weeks.
this makes me see. I am radiating happiness right now because I'm telling you, the more that you align with other people that do great things but also want to give back, the more like warmth your heart will have and just the smile won't be able to be taken away from you, truly.
Hmm.
And so I think the biggest mistake that people make is not reaching out to others that could potentially help them. As long as you're not a taker, as long as you want to show them. I call this the barter system in the book. It's like you help me, I help you, but not from a way that's like transactional. It's just when you can, you do because you want to.
And if you don't ask for help, you don't allow people to show how much they care about you.
And be bold. Like when Sarah Jessica Parker had her shoe store downtown, I walked, she had actually like very humble. You see women like this. She was selling shoes, okay, from her own store. She didn't have to do that. So I took that as an example. And you know what I did? I have leggings. And I went to the store and I brought her a pair of leggings. I didn't ask her to take a photo. I didn't ask her, to post on Instagram. I just said from one businesswoman to another, I thought you'd really enjoy these. And I gifted her. Thank you for taking the time to find my shoes. And then, when I see her out and about, she'll maybe recognize me or not. But that's what you have. And also, you said something about getting your name right. Priyanka Chopra is another one who is just so elegant. And I interviewed her for E! News at one of her movie premieres. And she was addressing all these different reporters on the red carpet. But when she responded to me, I noticed she said, "Well, Valerie," when I asked her a question. And when you can address someone and you take that moment to remember their name, even if you have to ask them again, it's you telling them they matter. And it truly does help nurture the instant connection.
I have not heard of that tip before, but I'm gonna start doing it because
That
I
makes me
I like
really
that.
happy.
Yeah, I never realized that recognizing somebody by their name and addressing them by their name, if there's someone that you just met in a conversation, it actually like shows them that I value hearing them.
Right. You're not running past them and looking for the next best person to talk to. Like they matter, not just in this moment, because you never know, especially in our world. And we're in New York City, but wherever you live, you're going to run into people over and over again. And it's just important to be intentional and let people know they matter.
Yes. And your current theme right now is ready, set, glow. What does glow mean to you, and how do we know when we've truly stepped into it?
Yeah, it's just such a, I say high vibrational a lot because it's just a fun, like playful term for people to incorporate into like their everyday stressful lives. I mean, I'll say, and I realize like I keep saying it, I'll say it to guys I'm going on dates with. I mean, people just start to laugh. And I think the lighter that we make things sometimes, the more love that we can fill a room with. I mean, I will tell you this, at my book party, I had 70 people there. I was speaking, and my jacket, I had a wardrobe malfunction. And this was like my moment. And you know what? I laughed at myself and it was hilarious. And it just really made me that much more relatable. And that wasn't something I was trying to do. It just, I was being me. So the more that we can make fun of ourselves and keep things light, I think that that's truly the way that we need to not take ourselves so seriously. I mean, people are saving lives. That's amazing. People, protect our country. That's amazing. But like, I mean, I'm just here to make people smile and to help people communicate and feel good about themselves. And I shouldn't say I'm just here, but everything, no matter what you do, has value. And you can make a difference in someone's life at every single moment. I just want to say, like, the porter that lives, that works in the building next door to me, somebody that lives in my building who actually is recovering from a brain tumor. Like, these are people that are telling me the book's affecting them. And, if it affects one person, that's all I could ever ask for.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, did I jump around? I think I may have jumped around. I so much
Oh,
to
no,
say.
right. I mean, you mentioned that one of the confidence tips is like not taking yourself so seriously.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering, like, what's one daily ritual that you swear by to instantly boost your confidence?
Well, I always smile at myself. And I learned this because of the fact that I work in media. You look in the mirror and you smile at yourself. Or like when I'm preparing or reading a script, that's not just for people on TV. That's like coming up with a phrase that works for you. That's very, and you've been validated. I mean, that's what I say to myself. And I want that to be like a message that people can pass it on. So, Jillian, you can come up with a fun, play on your name or terminology that, like today, if you did one good thing, you know what I mean? One is enough. So it's like you look in the mirror and say, Jillian, I'm so proud of you for doing XYZ.
Hmm.
It's like if you put something good into your body, if you take that extra breath to get grounded, like those are all things that you can use to feel more confident instantaneously in a pinch. You can also like write down things that you're proud of that you've accomplished. Call someone that makes you laugh. Those are all really great things to boost your confidence because like that's like serotonin levels through the roof.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And last question before we get into our rapid fire.
Yes.
What is one, what's the main takeaway that you want people to take from your book?
Be kind to yourself and glow get it. I am telling you, I did not come from connections. I did not come from money. And there were times, my mom wasn't doubting me, but she was doubting the world around me. And she'll be the first person to tell you this. And now there's not a doubt in her mind that I could make it happen. And again, it wasn't about my capability, but it was about, how hard the world can be. And as long as you keep going, keep glowing, tenacious behavior, and you use the tools from this book, if you're not a natural born extrovert like myself, any project that you want to move forward on can come to fruition. You'll get out of your own way.
Valerie, I am going to start saying go glow get it.
Yes,
Glow,
please.
keep glowing, keep glowing. That is so good. So that's all the questions that I have for the interview section, but now we're going into the rapid fire, which I end every interview with. It's a simple yes, no. And are you ready?
I'm ready, sis.
Okay. Do you believe confidence can be learned?
Yes.
Have you ever felt imposter syndrome on a red carpet?
No.
Is social media more empowering than damaging?
Can it be in between?
Yes.
In between.
Have you ever faked confidence until you felt it?
Yes.
Have you ever walked into an interview and thought they need more validation than I do?
No.
Is networking easier online than in person?
No. Yes, yes, yes. Well,
Networking online is easier.
that's tricky. That's tricky. I like want to go down the rabbit hole on that one. It's hard for me to just answer one thing. I think meeting in person, there's nothing else like it.
Right. Okay. Do you
Get
think
offline and get in front of the person in real life if you can.
because it's hotter in person.
Yes, it is.
But do you think comparison is the biggest confidence killer?
Yes.
Would you rather would you rather interview Oprah again or host your own talk show?
Host my own talk show and
Can
have Oprah on it as interviewing me. Can I get both?
Right. Right. The right
Shooting
answer, the
stars.
best answer. Can oversharing hurt your confidence?
No, being vulnerable is a strength.
And are you hotter in person?
Yes, absolutely. Without a doubt, we all are.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. This was so fun. I love learning from you, and I'm gonna glow get it after this.
Been validated.
Yay! And tell everybody that doesn't know where they can find you and where they can find your book.
Follow me on Instagram at Val Greenberg. Find my book on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. And please do reach out to me on TikTok too at the real Val Greenberg, and my website is you'vebeenvalidated.com.
Love it. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you for listening, and I will see you all next time.